Captain Marcus Walsh squinted at the anomalous reading on his F-14D's modified sensor array. After 15 years of flying what the brass called routine patrols, he'd never seen anything like it. The signature pulsed with an otherworldly rhythm, barely visible against the cosmic background radiation that typically filled his screens. Control Raptor 1. I'm picking up something unusual at bearing 030, elevation 45,000 feet, he reported, his voice steady despite the growing tension in his chest. The response came after an unusually long pause. Raptor 1, maintain current heading. Commander Rhodes is being notified. The controller's voice carried an edge Marcus had never heard before. The year was 2047, and humanity had kept a secret for nearly 3 decades. The F-14D, officially retired in 2006, had never truly left service. Instead, it had become the testbed for humanity's most advanced defensive technologies, hidden in plain sight under the guise of heritage flights and museum pieces. Marcus rolled his shoulders, trying to release the tension building there. His F-14D, tail number 164603, looked like any other Tomcat on the outside. But beneath its skin lay a network of quantum sensors and experimental propulsion systems that would make even the most advanced fifth-generation fighters look primitive. The real breakthrough had come from Dr. Richard Hammond's work at the Quantum Propulsion Laboratory. He had discovered that certain atomic-scale phenomena could be harnessed to detect and potentially counter advanced propulsion systems. Systems that, according to classified reports, didn't originate on Earth. Raptor 1, new orders. Commander Rhodes's voice crackled through the secure channel. You are to shadow the anomaly, but do not engage. We've been waiting for this. Marcus's co-pilot, Lieutenant Diana Vega, spoke up from the back seat. Captain, energy signature is intensifying. Whatever it is, it's not trying to hide anymore. The sky above them shimmered, like heat waves rising from summer asphalt. Then, as if someone had pulled back an invisible curtain, it appeared. The vessel defied conventional aerodynamic principles, its surface rippling with what appeared to be living metal. Control Raptor 1, visual contact established. Object appears to be approximately 300 meters in length, configuration unlike anything in our database. Marcus kept his voice professional, even as his mind struggled to process what he was seeing. The alien vessel, there was no other word for it, began to emit a series of complex energy patterns. The F-14D's quantum interface, disguised as standard avionics, started translating the emissions into recognizable data. They're scanning us, Diana reported, her fingers dancing across the classified interface. But they don't seem to realize what they're looking at. The quantum masking is holding. For 30 years, humanity had prepared for this moment. The F-14D program hadn't been about maintaining old aircraft. It had been about hiding their most advanced technology in plain sight, in a platform no potential adversary would think to examine too closely. Raptor 1, you are authorized to initiate Protocol 7. Commander Rhodes's words carried the weight of decades of preparation. Marcus engaged the quantum interface, feeling the aircraft respond like a living thing beneath his hands. The supposedly obsolete F-14D began transmitting a complex series of signals, humanity's first deliberate communication with an alien intelligence. The response was immediate. The alien vessel's surface rippled with patterns of light, and new data flooded their screens. Diana's sharp intake of breath told Marcus she was seeing the same thing he was. Control were receiving a response. They recognize the quantum signatures. They know we've been watching them watching us. The secret was out. Humanity's carefully maintained facade of technological innocence had served its purpose. The F-14D, dismissed by the world as a relic, had just become the bridge between Earth and the stars. As Marcus maintained his position relative to the alien vessel, he couldn't help but smile. Years of flying what everyone thought was an obsolete fighter had led to this moment. The F-14D hadn't been retired, it had been transformed into humanity's silent guardian, hiding their greatest technological achievements behind an aging exterior. The game of celestial chess was about to begin, and humanity had just revealed their queen. Engineer Jenna Patel stood in the subterranean hangar of Facility Zero, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display floating before her. The quantum interface she'd spent the last 5 years developing was finally showing results that exceeded even her wildest expectations. Around her, the massive underground complex hummed with activity as technicians swarmed over the modified F-14D. Its panels opened to reveal technology that would have seemed like magic just a decade ago. "Run the simulation again," she ordered, her fingers moving through the holographic controls with practiced precision. "Focus on the temporal variance in the quantum field when we push past Mach 3. Her assistant, Dr. Thomas Chen, nodded and initiated the sequence. The holographic F-14D in the display began to shimmer as simulated quantum fields wrapped around its form. "Look at these readings," he whispered. "The field stability is holding at 98.9%. The breakthrough had come 3 months ago when Jenna realized they'd been approaching the problem from the wrong direction. Instead of trying to match alien technology, they needed to understand why the aliens hadn't detected Earth's quantum potential earlier. The answer lay in the F-14D itself. "It's the analog systems," she explained to the gathered team of engineers and military officials. "The older aircraft's hybrid mix of analog and digital systems created a natural quantum camouflage. We didn't build this capability, we discovered it by accident. The F-14D was inadvertently masking quantum signatures all along." Colonel James Harrison, the project's military liaison, stepped forward. "That's why you insisted on keeping the original aircraft's core systems intact." Jenna nodded, pulling up another holographic display. "Exactly. The analog systems act as a quantum dampener, making our modifications nearly invisible to advanced scanning technology. But now we're not just hiding, we're weaponizing that capability." The hangar's massive doors opened, revealing the prototype they designated as QF-14DX1. Unlike its predecessors, this aircraft bore subtle modifications visible to the trained eye. The variable geometry wings now housed quantum field generators, while the aircraft's spine contained a lattice of experimental metamaterials that could bend both light and gravity. "The quantum interface doesn't just let us detect alien vessels," Jenna continued, walking toward the aircraft. "It allows us to manipulate spacetime on a localized scale. Traditional limitations of physics, speed, maneuverability, even weapon effectiveness become negotiable." She placed her hand on the aircraft's cool metal skin, feeling the subtle vibration of the quantum field generators at idle. "We've managed to integrate the technology so seamlessly that it's virtually indistinguishable from standard upgrades. Any observer would see only an upgraded legacy fighter." The demonstration that followed left the audience speechless. In the sealed test chamber, the QF-14DX1 performed maneuvers that defied conventional physics. The quantum field allowed it to execute turns without banking, stop midair without stalling, and accelerate without producing a sonic boom. "The real advancement isn't just in what we can do," Thomas added, pulling up the test data. "It's in how we're doing it. The quantum interface learns and adapts. Each flight makes the system more efficient, more capable. It's like the aircraft is evolving." But Jenna knew they were racing against time. The alien vessel Captain Walsh had encountered was just the beginning. Their long-range quantum sensors had detected increasing activity at the edges of the solar system. Whatever was coming, it would arrive soon. "We need to accelerate production," Colonel Harrison announced, reviewing the latest intelligence reports. "How quickly can we modify the remaining F-14D fleet?" Jenna's team had anticipated this question. "We've streamlined the process. With the automated quantum fabrication systems online, we can modify 2 aircraft per week. The bottleneck isn't installation, it's training pilots to use the system effectively." The quantum interface required a fundamental shift in how pilots thought about flight. Traditional combat maneuvers became merely suggestions when you could bend spacetime itself. The first training sessions had left even experienced pilots disoriented and nauseous. "We've developed a new training protocol," Thomas explained, bringing up the simulator data. "Using quantum-linked virtual reality, we can compress 6 months of training into 6 weeks. The neural adaptation is faster in the quantum space." As if to underscore the urgency of their work, the facilities. Quantum sensors suddenly spiked. Jenna rushed to the main display, her heart racing as she interpreted the readings. Multiple quantum signatures detected at the Kuiper belt, large vessels, at least dozen of them. Colonel Harrison immediately opened a secure channel to command. "This is it, people. Operation Quantum Shield is now active. Engineer Patel, you have full authorization to implement all planned upgrades. Whatever's coming will be ready." Jenna looked at the QF-14DX1, its quantum field now visible to her trained eye as a subtle distortion in the air around it. They had transformed a retired fighter into humanity's most advanced weapon. hiding their greatest technological achievement behind an aging facade. The next few weeks would determine whether it would be enough. As her team rushed to prepare for what was coming, Jenna couldn't help but appreciate the irony. The aliens, with all their advanced technology, had never considered that humanity's greatest strength lay not in their newest creations, but in their ability to reimagine the old. The F-14D, once considered obsolete, was about to become the spearhead of humanity's defense against an alien threat. And thanks to the quantum interface, it would fight in ways its original designers could never have imagined. The wings of innovation were about to carry humanity into a new era of warfare, where the lines between possible and impossible would blur in the quantum dance of combat. The quantum alert klaxons shattered the pre-dawn silence at Andrews Air Force Base. Captain Marcus Walsh sprinted toward his QF-14D alongside dozens of other pilots, their boots echoing on concrete as deep space tracking reported multiple quantum ruptures forming just beyond lunar orbit. "All pilots, this is General Jackson," the base commander's voice crackled through their comms. "Long-range sensors confirm 12 Zyraxian warships have breached the quantum barrier. Their trajectory suggests Earth as their primary target. This is not a drill." Lieutenant Diana Vega was already in the rear seat when Marcus reached their aircraft, her hands flying over the quantum interface controls. "Systems are hot, Captain. Quantum field is stable and ready for engagement." Across the airfield, 20 modified F-14DS roared to life, their engines glowing with an otherworldly blue tinge as quantum fields wrapped around their frames. To any conventional radar, they would appear as normal aircraft. But these machines now carried humanity's most advanced defensive technology. "Raptor Squadron, form up on me," Marcus commanded as they climbed through the stratosphere. "Remember your training. The quantum interface gives us advantages they won't expect. Use it." The alien fleet emerged from quantum space in a display of technological superiority, their massive ships dwarfing anything humanity had ever built. Each vessel bristled with weapons that could reduce cities to ash. But they hadn't come to negotiate. The first energy blast from the lead Zyraxian ship vaporized a section of the Pacific Ocean, sending a massive steam cloud into the atmosphere. It was a demonstration of power, meant to cow humanity into submission. "All units engage quantum combat protocols," General Jackson ordered. "Show them why we kept the F-14D program alive." Marcus engaged his quantum field generator, feeling the aircraft respond like a living entity. The traditional laws of physics began to bend around them as 20 F-14DS split into attack formations. On his quantum display, he could see the Zyraxian ship's energy signatures pulsing with confusion as their sensors tried to make sense of what they were seeing. "They're scanning us," Diana reported. "Their quantum signatures suggest they're recalibrating their weapons. They don't understand what we've done to these aircraft." The first exchange happened in seconds. A Zyraxian destroyer launched a barrage of plasma torpedoes at Marcus's formation. In any other aircraft, evasion would have been impossible. But the QF-14DS didn't need to evade, they manipulated space itself. "Execute Maneuver Quantum 7, Marcus ordered. His squadron responded instantly, their aircraft phasing through spacetime in a way that made them appear to be in multiple locations simultaneously. The alien weapons passed harmlessly through quantum shadows while the real fighters emerged behind the destroyer. "Quantum missiles armed," Diana announced. "Target locked." The weapons they launched weren't conventional missiles, but quantum-enhanced projectiles that could bypass traditional shields. The destroyer's defenses, designed to stop physical attacks, proved useless against weapons that existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously. Explosions rippled across the alien vessel's hull as the quantum missiles phased through its outer defenses and rematerialized inside critical systems. The massive ship listed in space, its quantum drive sputtering and failing. But the Zyraxians adapted quickly. Their remaining ships began modulating their shield frequencies, trying to counter the quantum attacks. Energy beams lanced through space, forcing the F-14DS into increasingly complex evasive patterns. "Raptor 3, watch your 6, Marcus called out as he saw a Zyraxian fighter squadron emerge from one of the larger ships. The alien craft were sleek and deadly, clearly designed for atmospheric combat. Lieutenant James Rodriguez in Raptor 3 engaged his quantum drive just as an alien beam weapon sliced through where his aircraft had been microseconds before. "These bastards are quick learners," he transmitted, his voice tense but controlled. The battle evolved into a dance of quantum mechanics and tactical brilliance. The F-14DS used their ability to manipulate local spacetime to appear where the aliens least expected, striking with conventional and quantum weapons in unpredictable patterns. "They're trying to establish a quantum lock on our signatures," Diana warned, her fingers flying over her controls. "If they succeed, they could neutralize our quantum advantage." Marcus made a split-second decision. "All units, implement Protocol Omega, scatter your quantum signatures across all possible frequencies. Let's give them too many targets to track." The strategy worked. The Zyraxian targeting systems, overwhelmed by the quantum chaos, couldn't establish clear locks on the Earth fighters. Their shots went wide, creating spectacular light shows in the upper atmosphere but failing to find their marks. The tide turned when Raptor Squadron executed a synchronized quantum strike on the alien fleet's command ship. 20 F-14DS, appearing to phase in and out of reality, launched a coordinated attack that overwhelmed the vessel's defenses. The massive ship's quantum core destabilized, creating a cascade effect that forced the remaining Zyraxian vessels to retreat or risk destruction. As the alien ships disappeared into quantum space, leaving behind their damaged and destroyed companions, a cheer erupted across the squadron's comm channel. Humanity had just won its first major engagement against a technologically superior force. "All units return to base," General Jackson ordered, his voice carrying unmistakable pride. "The Zyraxians will be back, but now they know Earth isn't the easy target they thought we were." Marcus looked at his quantum displays, still showing the retreating energy signatures of the alien fleet. The F-14D, a fighter that the world had thought obsolete, had just proven itself the most formidable weapon in humanity's arsenal. "Next time they won't underestimate us," Diana said as they descended through the atmosphere, their quantum field gradually powering down. "No," Marcus agreed, watching the sunrise paint the sky in brilliant colors. "Next time they'll come prepared for a real fight, and so will we." The first battle was over, but the war for Earth's survival had just begun. The F-14D had revealed its true potential, transforming from a retired warrior into humanity's quantum sword and shield. Whatever came next, they would be ready. Squadron leader Kai Nakamura stood before the holographic display in the underground command center, studying the quantum sensor readings with intense focus. The Zyraxian fleet had retreated to the dark side of Mars, using the planet's magnetic field to mask their quantum signatures. But they hadn't counted on the enhanced capabilities of Earth's monitoring network. "Their command vessel sustained more damage than we initially thought," he explained to the assembled Joint Chiefs. "Engineer Patel's quantum analysis confirms their main drive is operating at only 60% capacity. This might be our only chance to strike before they complete repairs." General Jackson leaned forward, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic display. "What's your proposal, squadron leader?" Kai activated a new simulation showing a complex flight path through the solar system. A quantum strike force, small, fast, and nearly impossible to detect. 3 QF-14DS modified with the latest stealth quantum generators. We can approach through the asteroid belt using the natural quantum distortions in the region to mask our approach. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. This wouldn't be a defensive battle. This would be humanity's first offensive operation against an alien force. "Who would you take?" the general asked. "Lieutenant Ryan O'Connor and Captain Mei Lin," Kai replied without hesitation. "They've shown exceptional aptitude with the quantum interface's more experimental features." 48 hours later, 3 F-14DS lifted off from a hidden facility in the Mojave Desert. Their frames had been modified even further, incorporating prototype quantum stealth. Technology that made them nearly invisible to both conventional and quantum sensors. "Storm lead to control, quantum drives are spooled and ready," Kai reported as they reached the edge of the atmosphere. "Initiating Phase 1. The three fighters accelerated to speeds that would have torn conventional aircraft apart. But wrapped in their quantum fields, they sliced through space like ghosts, leaving no trace of their passage. "Storm 2 status check," Kai called out. "Quantum field stable at 98%, Ryan O'Connor responded from Storm 2. "The new stealth generators are performing better than expected." "Storm 3, all systems nominal," Malin added. "No signs of detection from Mars' orbital zone." They traversed the distance to the asteroid belt in hours rather than months, their quantum drives bending spacetime around them. Engineer Patel's latest modifications allowed them to navigate the chaotic quantum signatures of the asteroid field with unprecedented precision. As they approached Mars, the massive form of the Zyraxian command ship came into view. Despite the damage from the previous battle, it remained an intimidating sight. Several smaller vessels patrolled nearby, their sensor beams sweeping the space around them. Storm Squadron, execute attack pattern Quantum 9, Kai ordered. Remember, we only get one shot at this. The three F-14Ds split apart, each aircraft phasing through quantum space in a different pattern. The maneuver, impossible for conventional craft, allowed them to approach the command ship from three different vectors simultaneously. They're starting to detect something, May warned. Quantum disturbance readings are spiking. Kai watched as the alien vessels began to react, their weapons charging. But they were looking for conventional attacks, not understanding that the threat was already inside their defense perimeter. Now, Kai commanded. All three F-14Ds materialized simultaneously at different points around the command ship. Before the Zyraxians could react, they launched their quantum torpedoes, weapons designed by Engineer Patel's team to target specific quantum frequencies. The first volley struck the command ship's quantum shield generators, creating cascading failures across its defensive systems. The second wave targeted its propulsion systems, while the third struck at the vessel's command and control nodes. Multiple direct hits, Ryan reported. Their quantum field is collapsing. But the Zyraxians weren't finished. Energy beams lashed out from the escort vessels, forcing the F-14Ds into evasive action. Kai's quantum display lit up with warning signals as the aliens began adapting to their presence. They're trying to establish a quantum lock, May called out. Standard evasion won't work much longer. Kai made a split-second decision, execute Protocol Omega Black. It was a desperate move, one they'd only tested in simulations. All three F-14Ds synchronized their quantum fields, creating a temporary phase space that made them appear to exist in multiple locations simultaneously. The Zyraxian targeting systems, already struggling to track the quantum-enhanced fighters, were completely overwhelmed. Their weapons fire passed harmlessly through quantum shadows, while the real aircraft struck again and again at the command ship's vulnerabilities. Their main reactor is going critical, Ryan announced. Quantum cascade failure imminent. Storm Squadron, disengage and prepare for emergency quantum jump, Kai ordered. Set coordinates for Earth orbital insertion. As they pulled away, the Zyraxian command ship's quantum core imploded, creating a spectacular distortion in spacetime that consumed several of its escort vessels. The remaining alien ships, suddenly without central command, fell into disarray. The three F-14Ds engaged their quantum drives at maximum power, tearing through space back toward Earth. Behind them, the explosion at Mars would serve as a beacon to any watching eyes in the galaxy. Humanity was not to be underestimated. Storm lead to control, Kai transmitted as they approached Earth orbit. Mission accomplished. The Zyraxian command structure has been neutralized. In the ensuing days, the remaining alien vessels retreated from the solar system, their carefully planned invasion now in shambles. Earth's modified F-14Ds had not only defended their home, but had taken the fight to the enemy and won. As Kai landed his aircraft back at the Mojave facility, he couldn't help but smile at the irony. The F-14D, once slated for retirement and museums, had become the instrument of humanity's greatest military victory. Engineer Patel was waiting on the tarmac as they taxied in. The quantum data from your mission is incredible, she said as Kai climbed down from the cockpit. What you achieved out there, it's going to change everything. It already has, Kai replied, looking at his aircraft. The F-14D's angular form seemed to shimmer slightly as its quantum field powered down, a ghost of the future wrapped in the skin of the past. They'll think twice before challenging Earth again. The successful strike against the Zyraxian command ship marked a turning point in the conflict. Humanity had proven they could not only defend their world but could take the fight to any adversary, no matter how technologically advanced. The F-14D, reborn through quantum innovation, had become the symbol of Earth's emergence as a force to be reckoned with in the galaxy. 6 months after the decisive battle at Mars, the underground facility at Quantum Base Alpha hummed with unprecedented activity. Engineer Jenna Patel stood beside General Jackson as they watched workers install the newly designed quantum communication array, humanity's first attempt at faster-than-light communication. The Zyraxian quantum core we recovered has revolutionized our understanding of space-time manipulation, Jenna explained, her eyes fixed on the massive crystalline structure taking shape before them. But what's more interesting is what we found in their data banks. The general raised an eyebrow, the star maps. More than that, Jenna replied, activating a holographic display. We've confirmed at least 12 spacefaring civilizations within 500 light-years of Earth. The Zyraxians weren't just invaders, they were enforcers, keeping lesser species from developing quantum technology. Captain Marcus Walsh and squadron leader Kai Nakamura entered the command center, fresh from testing the latest quantum modifications to the F-14D fleet. The aircraft had evolved far beyond their original design, now incorporating technology that would have seemed impossible just a year ago. The quantum signature beacon is active, Marcus reported. If there are any other civilizations out there watching, they'll know Earth is now a quantum-capable world. The decision to announce their presence had been controversial, but the alternative, waiting for another surprise attack, was deemed more dangerous. Humanity would face the galaxy on their own terms. The response came sooner than anyone expected. The quantum sensors lit up 3 days later, detecting multiple ships entering the solar system. But these weren't Zyraxian vessels. The quantum signatures were completely different, and they made no attempt to hide their approach. 7 ships approaching in formation, Lieutenant Diana Vega announced from her station. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, including our quantum channels. The message that came through was clear: people of Earth, we are the Galactic Concordat. Your victory over the Zyraxian enforcement fleet has not gone unnoticed. We come in peace, seeking dialogue. Within hours, a squadron of modified F-14Ds escorted the alien delegation's shuttle to the newly constructed quantum landing facility. The sight of Earth's fighters, now visibly wrapped in sophisticated quantum fields, drew obvious attention from the alien observers. Ambassador Chen Wei, chosen to represent Earth, stood with military and scientific leaders as the shuttle's doors opened. The aliens who emerged represented 3 different species, all of whom had suffered under Zyraxian dominance. For centuries, the Zyraxians prevented emerging civilizations from developing quantum technology, the lead ambassador, a tall, crystalline being named Nexar, explained during the initial meeting. Your achievement in not only developing it independently but defeating their fleet with modified atmospheric fighters is unprecedented. The F-14D program was born of necessity, General Jackson responded. We took what we had and made it work. That is precisely why we are here, Nexar continued. The Concordat believes in sharing knowledge between civilizations, not suppressing it. Your innovative approach to quantum technology offers a fresh perspective that could benefit all species. The negotiations that followed would reshape humanity's future. Earth would join the Galactic Concordat as a full member, with the F-14D program serving as the foundation for a new joint defense initiative. The fighters that had saved Earth would now help protect other worlds from threats like the Zyraxians. 1 month later, Engineer Patel stood in a newly constructed quantum hangar, watching as teams of human and alien technicians worked together on the next generation of F-14D variants. The aircraft's adaptable design had proven perfect for incorporating technologies from multiple civilizations. To think, she mused to Captain Walsh, who stood beside her. All this started because we decided to keep some obsolete fighters in service. Nothing is truly obsolete, Marcus replied, watching as a quantum field test created beautiful patterns of light around one of the aircraft. It's just waiting for the right moment to reveal its true potential. The F-14D's journey from retired fighter to humanity's quantum champion had opened up the stars. As the first joint human-alien pilot training program began, with crews learning to handle the increasingly sophisticated quantum systems, it became clear that Earth's defenders had become something more. They were now guardians of a new age of galactic cooperation. Squadron leader Nakamura, preparing to lead the first mixed-species training flight, summed it up best. The F-14D wasn't just an aircraft. It was a bridge between past and future, between Earth and the stars, between species who might never have met otherwise. We thought we were developing weapons to defend our world. Instead, we created the key to humanity's place in the galaxy. As the sun set on another busy day at Quantum Base Alpha, a formation of F-14Ds took to the sky, their quantum fields shimmering with colors never before seen on Earth. Human and alien pilots flew side by side, their combined knowledge pushing the boundaries of what was possible. The aircraft that the world had once thought ready for museums now soared between the stars, their distinctive silhouette recognized across the galaxy as a symbol of innovation, determination, and the incredible potential that lies dormant in even the most unlikely places. Earth had not only survived its trial by fire, it had emerged as a leader in a new galactic age. And it all began with a simple decision: to see the extraordinary potential in an ordinary fighter plane, waiting for its moment to change the universe.